The Sims 4 gallery is so unnecessarily irritating to work with. You literally can't find stuff on there. Like, I can't even find my own older builds because it just kind of stops working at a certain point. The filter options are kind of bad and they don't even work half the time. The search feature barely works. And sometimes the gallery just stops working and you can't scroll any farther. And I just spent a ridiculous amount of time trying to go back and find my own oldest Sims builds. I thought it might be kind of fun in honor of The Sims 4's 10th birthday this week to go back and try to renovate one of my own first ever Sims builds. Now, a couple of disclaimers. I played The Sims 3 a lot, and obviously I don't have any of those original Sims builds. And even the ones that I have on the gallery aren't my actual first Sims 4 builds. I definitely built a lot that I never posted back when I first started playing. And there's probably even older ones on my gallery that I just couldn't find because the gallery is the way that it is. But I've got a couple of options here for us. And I just realized that because I saved them to my library, it says today's date instead of the original date, and I might start crying. I can't scroll through the gallery again for this. It took me way too long. But this one was from 2015. It is the original 100 baby house that I made for my first ever 100 baby challenge Let's Play. I don't really know why it's so dark. It's very simple. It's 3 bedrooms. The roof line's not really interesting. This one is also a very simple starter home from 2016. It was this legacy challenge that I was playing on my Tumblr, of all things. I actually think this layout in hindsight is really bad. Like where the couch is, but I was extremely proud of this household. I was like obsessed with this family at the time. I also built this beach bungalow in 2015, which is not on a beach and is not a bungalow. And I remember being like really offended by mean comments that I was getting about how it wasn't a bungalow, because I knew it wasn't a bungalow, but I thought it was a cute name, so I called it that anyway. And I was like so sensitive because I was a child, so whenever anybody commented it's not a bungalow, I would get like genuinely sad. Anyway, I built this in the get together world and like pretended that it was on a beach because at the time we didn't have beaches in The Sims 4. And then this one, the Yellowstone family home, is also from 2015. And I remember being so proud of this house. Also, my cat's here. I remember thinking like this was the best thing I had ever built when I made this. I think I might have built it on like Thanksgiving break, and I remember I was just so excited about this house build. And because I was so proud of this, I think that this is the one that I want to go back and try to renovate today. What on earth? A country style family home complete with a home gym, study, art studio, granny suite, and finished backyard. Hashtag home, hashtag family home, hashtag family, hashtag cute, hot, sexy, yellow country mansion manor, giant, large. What? It's because people used to put these hashtags and they were like trending on the gallery or whatever, but why did I put hashtag sexy for the build? I'm embarrassed by that. I am genuinely embarrassed by that. Oh my god. Okay, let's go and renovate this. It looks like I originally built it in Newcrest on that 40 by 30 lot. I'm almost scared to see what's inside. Also, don't look at that. Ignore that. There, I bulldozed it for you. Now you have to ignore it. Okay, so this is what it looks like on the outside. And immediately I'm like, what the heck is going on there with the roof? Oh my. I would have done that differently if I did that today. We'll talk about it. Even like with the roof pieces, why is it asymmetrical? Okay, well, it's kind of like farmhousey inspired. At the time, I had done this with these little half walls because we didn't have any columns that had a stone base to them. So I had put these column half walls there to try and mimic like that stone base sort of look. Almost like these from Seasons, but this just predates Seasons, so we didn't have them yet. And I remember thinking I was so clever for that idea with the half walls. This is also a really different landscaping style than I would ever do today. I'm really surprised by what I chose to put out here. I kind of made this interesting, like sort of curved path with the flooring. We've got some big dormers upstairs. If you come around the side, I even did real chimneys. I never put chimneys just on the build like that. I usually do fake ones, so that's interesting. Oh, I remember being so proud of this landscaping too. I was like so excited about how I did this trim and like the lighting around it. It really is so different from my style nowadays. This is kind of cool though. We have this like almost gazebo space. And you see how this roof is really weird? That's because this is before we got the octagonal roof update. So we didn't have these rounded roofs, so we had to do stuff like this instead, which is really weird to think about because it was so long ago. But I like how we have the gazebo kind of walking you over to where the garden is. Oh my gosh, the cat is back again. She really wants attention. We've also got this kind of cute patio with a fountain built in. I remember thinking this was like the best backyard I had ever done. It's kind of cute for me to look back on. Over here we had a massive pool. I put like a little set of chairs in front of the tree. Keep in mind, we also didn't have like lounge chairs at this point. None of that existed. I mean, I only used these 5 packs: get together, spa day, outdoor retreat, cool kitchen, and the perfect patio stuff pack. Those were probably the only packs that were out at the time. We might have had spooky stuff at that time too, but I just wouldn't have bought it. I wouldn't have been using that one. Okay, but on the inside of the house, oh, classic. We always had the chess tables on the porch. I've always been doing that. On the inside, it looks like you walk into this really fancy living room. I used to always put these steamboats in like every single build I ever did, so I put that on the fireplace mantle. I do actually kind of like the look of these columns with the stone behind the fireplace. We've got some pretty artwork. I've got these nice bookshelves and a chess table. Oh, I like this with the table behind the sofa. I never do that anymore. Why don't I do that? That looks kind of cool. Okay, well, over to this side, it looks like we've got some fancy double doors into a really fancy office space. We've got like business charts on display. This is a little chest. You can actually put stuff in there. I haven't used that item in years. It really annoys me how the mirror is not centered with it. That I don't like. I also never use these curtains anymore. I don't really like the swatches of them. Through the office, we had a gym downstairs. That's pretty nice. It's got all the gym equipment in it. And they had a big ensuite bathroom. I'm really intrigued by my use of a half wall there because I don't really do that anymore either. And the triple mirrors. Oh, I hate this. The window placement. So at the time, you couldn't place windows or doors on half tiles. You also couldn't alt place them. Those were all things that came in updates later. So you were kind of stuck with placing the windows on the tiles where they fit. So this is a 2 tile wide window. It has to be there. I couldn't like scoot it over a tiny bit. If I wanted to, it wouldn't let you. But if we kind of go back around, we have 2 arches into this dining room space. So we've got, oh, I was going all out with half walls in here, clearly. Oh my gosh. So we've got this really fancy bar area. You can only get to the bar through the office for some reason. But we've got a huge bar, some clutter behind it. I don't really like the layout, how you have to go through the office to get to the gym and the bathroom and the bar. I wish that the office was kind of more private. I think it's kind of weird how it's like a pass-through point, but it's fine. We also have a massive piano. We've got another pass-through for the kitchen. Oh, I do this all the time. I used to put double ovens because in my head it was like fancy to have 2 ovens. So I used to put double ovens in my kitchens. Why is there only a vent above one of them? I wonder if that's because I placed it without move objects on. I'm actually gonna try and place it again. Oh, no, there's still just one. Okay. There's also nothing on the shelves. I didn't put like clutter on the shelves. That's really weird to me. We have a breakfast nook, it looks like. And then if you come back around through this hallway, oh my goodness, there's a photo studio. That's from Get to Work. I never use that. It's a photo and an art studio. So we have like all the painting stuff, the woodworking table, the photo studio. And then it looks like we also have a big bedroom and an ensuite bathroom down here. And then if we go upstairs, wow, there's a lot of bedrooms in this house. Okay, so upstairs on this side, this is probably the primary bedroom because it has the double doors. I don't really like the look of this. Also, I don't understand why the light is not centered with it. Like, that's actually really annoying. Why did I do that? But these Sims have an ensuite bathroom, it looks like. I did the same thing with the big mirrors. It's like the exact same as this bathroom. Wow. There's a hall bathroom, it looks like. Lots of brown in this house. Down here, we have another bathroom in the hallway, another bathroom in the hallway. So there's 3 bathrooms all right here in this little tiny hallway. And then we have this bedroom. Wow, that's fancy. With the built-ins and everything? Interesting. I don't really like how I scooted this so far forward. I must have been doing that because I didn't want the curtain to clip, but now the desk is like so far off the wall. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh. That's actually really cute. I put a tea party because the kids would have like organized their toys for a tea party right there. I was doing a lot of custom shelves in this house. That's probably why I thought it was so nice, is because I put all this effort into custom shelving. We've got another kid's bedroom right here. I do not like how that is randomly all placed. That's really weird. I would never do that now. I used to do that and say it was lived in. I would like randomly alt place rugs a little bit and kind of like make them not straight. I don't know why I was doing that. That was a poor choice. But that's the fully finished house. So in total, it's what, like 5 bedrooms? 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms. It is big. It is a very big house, and I'm gonna see if I can renovate it. We obviously have a lot of things at our disposal now that we did not have back then. We have a lot more packs, we've got some more updates so we can kind of adjust shapes a little bit more. I wanna start with this roof because I wanna show you how I would have fixed that. I would just put this like significantly lower and then drag it all the way out because then it's kind of hidden. So you can't really tell. You can see it a bit more from the front, but you won't see it as much from the top of the house. And I think that's an improvement. Oh my gosh, this is a different roof color. I must have added that kind of last minute. I also think I'm gonna re-landscape the whole thing because honestly, I don't really like the landscaping that much. I feel bad for my past self because I know I was proud of it, but oh, that's the whole thing. But yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of it now. I also don't like this rotated thing. I do like the furnishing though, and I like the layout of this backyard a lot, so I think I might keep a lot of those things and just maybe work on some slight updates to it. Like for example, I might make this a little bit smaller. The room is still plenty big if it gets shrinked a tiny bit. I just feel like this is very large, and I don't really like that about it very much. I think it needs to get scooted back a little bit. Probably good for this section of the house too, because we'll lose that kind of fake space that was there. It also makes our backyard bigger, so that's a win. I'm gonna have a lot of work to do to fix this backyard up now. It's kind of weird. Yeah, even like with these, why did I put 2 pool ladders? I don't really understand my choices there with the double ladders and stuff. Oh, I like how there's a shuttered window in the bathroom. That's kind of cool. I'm trying to look at the front of this. I feel like it's very wide. It's just a really big house in that way. There's a part of me that kind of wants to shrink it. Oh, this is gonna be a real pain to redo the floor plan of. Uh-oh. I think honestly, I don't really like these bump outs very much. I think it looks kind of weird from the side, so maybe I'll get rid of those. I actually don't like this roof piece at all. Maybe I will just shrink the whole thing a little bit, because if we do it like that, we don't need to have that roof piece there anymore. I wonder if I could lower the roof at all, because I think it being a little bit lower helps. It just looks really tall. There's like a wall of shingles. Everything is shingles on the outside, and I don't really like that about it. I remember thinking this wallpaper was yellow, and it's decidedly not yellow. It's more of like a cream, I would say, but I definitely thought it was yellow back then. Oh, we gotta redo this. This is a mess. I really like how that looks, but we gotta use a rounded roof. To me, that's like instantaneously 10 times better with the roof being more normal. There's something about this that I don't love either, with that thing being centered. Oh, this is maybe a mistake, but I think I might shrink everything. I think I might scoot it even more in. I just want the roof to be a little bit shorter. Seriously, it's like too much. It doesn't look better yet. I'm sat here staring at it like, have I fixed it yet? Is it fine yet? And the answer is no, it's not. I've actually made it like significantly worse, to be honest. Look at the inside. It's just a mess in there because I've shrunk it so much. At least we can place windows on half tiles now, because that makes this, oh god, that makes this a lot easier. I might even alt place these. Is that so ugly? Kinda. It's kinda ugly. I think I might use a lighter wood instead of the dark wood color, because I don't have any other dark wood on the entire build. So I think it's kind of weird that I had the wood fences, but I do actually think that if replaced like that, it might be okay to keep my little half walls with the stone. I feel like I owe that to myself, because I was really proud of that idea, and I stand by it. I don't think it looks bad like that. I feel like it's kind of cool. These days when I'm building, I like to use these little fake chimneys. I think I might do that so I can get some more of the stone color. It kind of keeps that symmetrical vibe that the house has. Oh, I don't know if I like it. I guess, would this have been pre-get together then? Because I didn't use the get together column on all the edges. And I feel like I've always done that. I've always liked this get together column for corners, but maybe this is before that came out. This is a 2015 build, so it was a different time back then. I'm testing out a different column real quick. These are a little bit thicker. I don't know if that's better. I do like how these have like the little bits of trim at the top of the half wall, but I think I prefer the wider column. To me, I think that looks a little bit better, maybe. I think I might also scoot the whole thing forward a little bit, because we don't need to have that whole fancy pathway thing that I did. We can just have a normal path, and that gives us a little bit of a bigger backyard, which I think I prefer. Oh, look at that. I put a little trash can next to the grill. That's kind of cute. Okay, I'm gonna start redoing the whole layout of this backyard because I really like what we had before. I just think that maybe now that we have a bit more space, we can kind of upgrade. Oh, you know what else we have now that we didn't have then? Is ceiling fans. I would have loved this back then. I would have been so excited about that, having a fan on the porch. I'm trying to decide if I want to do any sort of trim. I'm kind of feeling like I almost want to simplify it a little bit more. I don't think I want to have trim. I think I want it to be a little bit more free flowing in terms of landscaping. I also didn't use a fence back then, and I think that today I would. At this point, I'm just starting from scratch. This is like a complete redo of what we had before. It's literally unrecognizable from the original, but that's fine. I almost feel bad because I know I was so proud of this back then. So part of me is like, oh, I should have kept it like in honor of my past self. But also I didn't like it anymore. So like, where does that leave me? Oh, you know what I could do is have a round fountain because that didn't exist either. Oh, this is gonna be big. I think it's worth it though, because that's like really cool, right? Oh, I would have loved that when I was younger. I would have thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. You can't make it any smaller than that though. Oh, respectfully, is it like too much to have a rounded pool and a rounded fountain? I am not sure. I think I might do this though. This is kind of weird, but I'm gonna have like a little spot back there for the trash cans. We'll have like one regular and one that's blue, and that can be for the recycling. Obviously it's a very subtle difference, but it's cute to me, so I'm gonna do that. Ooh, I really like that trim for it. That's good. Okay, well this is kind of what I was picturing for our little redo here. I was thinking about trying to use these plants, but kind of putting them like slightly overhanging the edges because I kind of wanted it to look a bit more, not natural because it's obviously very manicured landscaping, but I don't know, I think maybe I prefer this over like the fancy fence lined edges. I'm still to this day obsessed with these big oak trees, so I'm gonna use a couple of them in the back. I still like the idea of a garden. Maybe instead of it being a square though, they can be in a line. Oh my god, this is before Seasons even. So this is before Seasons like made gardening super buggy. Also, these had like no swatches. I think there used to be just like 4 swatches total on those. They really have changed and added a lot since then. I want to do lounge chairs and an umbrella because we didn't have either of those. The version of lilsimsie who built this would have just about died to learn that Seasons was coming. I mean, I would have been so excited. I literally cried when they announced Seasons. Sounds really dramatic when you talk about it now, but it was a big deal, okay? Also, I've always loved these plants. Oh, you couldn't even size things down back then either. Literally everything has changed since this happened. There was no debug landscaping back then. We didn't get debug landscaping until Strangerville is when we got access to the live edit objects. Okay, so right now I'm kind of starting to lay out some bigger flowers. I'm gonna do a series of different types of purple landscaping, I think. I'm basically thinking like all purple flowers, but different sizes, different types, different bushes. I clearly used to use more variety in flower colors back then, which is probably a good thing. But nowadays, I tend to prefer to stick to one color and then use different variants of that color. So like different types of flowers, all in those matching colors. There's really not a right or wrong way to do landscaping. It's literally just a style preference. Like whatever you do for landscaping is good. There's no correct way to do it. So I don't want you to take me saying that as like, oh, you have to do it this way, because it's just how I happen to choose to do it. But I am kind of liking that so far. I feel like that's really nice. Okay, I've got our table, we've got a grill, we've got the lounge chairs. I think I will get a pool ladder. Probably not 2 of them, just maybe the one we can put over there on the side. I might also use this as a way to open up so that you can access the backyard from over there. I do that instead of putting a fence gate a lot because the gates are either not tall enough or only come in blue. So, all right, I think the backyard is mostly done. So I'm gonna try to mimic that same style on the front. This is like such classic SIMsie landscaping. Oh my gosh, I'm almost like a little bit embarrassed by it because I know I do this all the time. We talked about this, it's just a style preference, okay, I swear. I'm sorry that it's the same. If I put one of those ferns giant, no, that's too much, sorry. I don't know what just came over me with that idea. That was very foolish. No, that's fine though, if we laid it out like that, and then we can get some big trees. Okay, so here's what we're kind of working with for the front now. I think I want to get some more little bits of detailing on the porch. Maybe this is where we can bring in some more colorful flowers because I like those by the front door. That's really cute. And I actually think I'll just leave the porch furniture because I still like that. I still think that's good. All right, let's go. It's time to fix the inside. I do honestly feel like most of the color scheme and the furniture can be kept. I just want to adjust the layout a little bit because like some of these things have gotten really messed up by me deciding to redo everything. Like I shrunk a lot of walls, so all the bathrooms are probably too small again, that sort of stuff. It looks like I had a lot of these double stacked towels, so that's kind of interesting. Are any of the bathroom mirrors still there? Oh, here we go. That's nice. I actually might keep the shelves mostly how I did them before because I kind of like this. I might just get rid of one though because it was too high. This really is kind of funny to look back on because I honestly feel like some of the furniture choices I made are like really weird. Lots of stuff that I probably wouldn't do now. Even like all those weird diagonal walls that we had, I probably wouldn't have done that today. I actually kind of love this little hallway. Honestly, I feel like this hallway is fine the way that it is. I don't think that really needs any adjustment. The only thing that I'm kind of worried about is I sort of wish we had a hall bathroom. So now I'm just kind of noodling on some different ways that we could potentially make that work. I'm actually thinking that maybe these both becoming doors could be good. And you see how I'm using these 2 wide doors? That's because I used to literally despise how the doors would not let you place them on half tiles. So what that means is if I was using a single tile door, I would have to place it either there or there. I could not put it in the middle. So I used to always use these 2 tile doors because I preferred them to be shaped like that. Now that's obviously not really a concern anymore because we can do that now, but it was a big deal back then. It used to bother me so much. Okay, so this is my proposed layout redo. I realize this is looking like extremely funky, so just bear with me for a second. I think that this room can stay as the gym and this room can stay as the office. And we have miraculously been able to shrink down some of the other rooms to make the bathroom more accessible by the hallway. And I think I prefer that. I feel like it makes more sense like this. Oh, I just had a really funny thought. Back in the day, I didn't need to have bathtubs anywhere because there weren't any toddlers and there weren't any dogs. So you had no need to bathe anybody. So I used to only ever put showers because the showers were faster for your Sims. But obviously now that we have all of those things, we need to have bathtubs way more often. That is so funny. Well, I'll put a bathtub then downstairs so that you can use that. This is a silly idea, but I'm gonna put a litter box. We'll make like a litter room, basically, that only the cat can access. I can put a little pet door right there in the wall. The cat can go in and out of there, and that's the laser litter box. So it just lasers the poop and you don't have to worry about it. I'll put a broom and stuff in there though, just for good measure. I did love how we had that living room before, so I'm gonna put that back. Oh, see, look at this with like the weird angled shoes. Why was I doing that? I don't like that at all. I don't wanna have angled shoes. Well, how about we get a cabinet like this? And that can go on an angle, I think, because that's pretty. And then I can put the coat rack next to the front door. I might also scoot everything just ever so slightly. Maybe I won't have the ottoman. I think that's a better arrangement of the space. Maybe I'll put something on the coffee table instead of on there. I don't know. I'm really trying to honor my original decisions, but I don't know like how much is too much in terms of that. I think that's the living room done. Although I don't really like this. Maybe I could scoot this over because that gives you a more clear pathway up the stairs. I feel like that's better. And I'm almost feeling like maybe it would be an improvement to have it a little bit more cream colored. Then we have our cute little gym, and this is by far the most modern looking room in the house. I'm keeping most of that furniture, but just adding a yoga mat. We did have yoga at this time, but I think the room was just too small before to have a yoga mat. I'll put like a gym style flooring in there too. Okay, that seems good to me. Oh my God, I'm trying to do like a complete rearranging of this office space and it's kind of scary. That seems like a better layout, right? It's all the same furniture. I just added a rug and kind of rearranged it, and I think that makes more sense. And now I want to try and do this room. So this is our art studio space. I am kind of feeling like I maybe did too much before. I like the idea of having this photo studio, but I'm also kind of feeling like it's sad to cover all the windows up. We should probably just do it anyway though, right? Because it's fun and like I never ever use those things. Trying to find the balance of like, it's an art studio, so you need windows and natural light, but also I want a photo studio, so what do I pick? But that looks good. I feel like that's cool and it's fun to get to use it. Okay, so now that leaves us with the dining room, bar, and kitchen. I think what I'm gonna do is put the bar backwards like that. Probably not that bar though. The 4 wide bar I think is weird to have in a home because you don't really have like stuff on tap in the house. So I always prefer like this one instead. We can get matching counters and it's okay if you put the bar like tucked into the wall like that. I promise it's still functional. I've done it many times. I like actually swear to you that it works. I swear to you that it works. Sims don't actually need to be able to sit at the bar as long as they can access the bar to like stand in front of it and make drinks. Oh, how about this? Let's swap these over real quick because I've got an extra tile now so I can put the shower in there. Oh, that looks way better. Okay, now I'm kind of grappling ceiling in this kitchen. Oh, look it, I was trying to have pendants above the sinks, but there's no pendants basically in this game. We have way more now. We just did not really have these things back then, obviously. I was loving this brown tile, wasn't I? Should I use that in the kitchen? Oh, it looks like I had this tile instead. Oh, okay, that's better. Sorry, put that back. Use that one. I really went like all out with the clutter, didn't I? I actually kind of like it. I don't usually organize things in this way. I feel like it looks pretty good. We even have a microwave. I might get another thing or two because nowadays we have like a stand mixer now. That might be fun to have. Obviously I had that massive grand piano originally, but we have upright pianos now. So I can still put a piano, but it'll just fit a little bit better. I don't love the color of this table, but I do like the idea of a card table. So I might put that just so we can have a place to play cards. And then it kind of has that like breakfast nook energy, but it's a game table. So you can use it for games. I think that is a decent attempt at redoing the layout. Most of it's the same. We just kind of rearranged some of these parts and we made it a little bit smaller. Oh, I need pet bowls. Oh my gosh, it's making me like kind of emotional looking back on this and like adding in the pet bowls because I just know 2015 Kayla would be like near tears thinking about how someday we're gonna have cats and dogs in the Sims. It sounds so silly, but I'm being serious. I would have been so thrilled about that news. And I was thrilled when they announced it, but it's just funny to look back on. Okay, I actually basically got rid of an entire bathroom up here, which is kind of sad when you think about it, but I suppose it had to be done. Oh dear. This bathroom has become useless. With the way the stairs and everything are laid out, it's like you literally can't even go in there. I wonder if we could turn this instead of into a bathroom, maybe that could become like a walk-in closet for this primary bedroom. Admittedly, it does feel like kind of a waste of space to go through and do all that, but also it might be nice because then we won't have like 3 bathrooms all right next to each other because that was kind of weird in the original. I actually have a nice big hallway up here. That's pretty good to have. I really don't like the color scheme. I'm not trying to be mean. I just really don't like it. I think I might put laundry up here because we have this kind of cute little nook. This bathroom, I'm really not super thrilled about. I won't lie, but it's nice to have some extra stuff. So we've got a huge upstairs bathroom. We've got laundry. I was probably really proud of this setup with the built-ins, but I guess I'm getting rid of that too. Oh, did I have columns outside or did I just put those in the corner? I think they were just in the corner of the interior of the room. That's interesting. Oh, and I had this ridiculously expensive painting. I don't really want that inside of that like kid's bedroom, I don't think. I think it would be fun to swap this room out into being like a nursery of some sort. Obviously, we did not have those things back in the day. There were no babies, there were no toddlers. So it might be kind of cute to put the infant stuff. This is one of those things also that is like absolutely mind-boggling to me when I think about how I would have reacted if you told me in 2015 that we would not only be getting a toddler update, but we would also get an infant update eventually. Oh my God. That like is unbelievable to people that played The Sims back then. The game has seriously changed so much, thankfully for the better, but they've really added so much since we first started playing this. So I do feel a little bit bad replacing what I think was probably my favorite room of the house, but I think that past Kayla would have been okay with it turning into a nursery. She would have been thrilled, in fact, about that. So I put a little reading nook and a rocking chair. We've got the changing table and the crib. I think I might try and put some built-in wardrobes over here on the side just to help take up some space, and then we can decorate with more little cutesy kid stuff. Things like Blarfy can go over there, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel like that might be the kids' room done, although actually I need that. Now the kids' room's done. So the baby has a place to sleep. I do not like the constant placement of these lights. I don't understand why I put like 4 of them. Maybe they were the brightest lights back then because we didn't have these little tiny saucer lights yet. So maybe I kept using those because they were the best at the time, but I don't agree with that choice. Probably gonna try and keep some of these original little clutter things that I had on the desk, but I might get rid of some of those shelves. I also want to scoot the beds over, so I'll probably put them further in the corner. And I did actually really like the lineup of all the ribbons, as if the kids have won a bunch of prizes. We've got a lunchbox and an extra backpack, and these even have a ton more swatches since when we first got them, so we can add to that. Do you think it's okay if I leave the tea party exactly where I had originally placed it? Because it might be better if it got scooted back a little bit. but also there's something about leaving it in the exact placement that feels kind of like nostalgic to me. And the kids wouldn't be like exactly centering their tea party in the room, you know? They'd just be setting it up and it would just be where it is. So I think it might be fine to leave like this. I like that room. That's a cool room. And then the last room, I'm sorry, we need to change this. I cannot have that angled like that anymore. That was making me so upset. The last room actually is like mostly fine, I think, in terms of placement. Let's get some pretty little posters to put on this wall too. And then maybe like another Blarfy or something. Okay, that's this side of the house done. The last room is just this primary bedroom and it clearly could use some work. Look at all these weird sections on the wall. Okay, I shall rearrange this just a tiny bit. Oh, I even put a TV in there. What's fun is your Sims can actually lay in bed and watch TV now. They couldn't back then, but they can now. I think I'm gonna put an arch into the closet because I don't want to use a door that has to be small. And I don't like how that door looks cut off. This is my problem, right? I don't want to put like one of the regular doors because then it doesn't match the other two doors in the room. So I think I'll just put, again, an arch into the closet. We have like the clothing racks. These are the ones that come with Dream Home Decorator, but I feel like the wood colors are kind of off for what we're trying to do. Should I use it anyway though? I mean, the alternative is to use these things and these aren't as good and they have like less swatches and less options. And we could probably put a little bit of both actually. Big full length mirror. We can even use the shoes. Oh, that's so fun. I actually love doing this. I think the last thing I'll probably put somewhere is a cat tree because we put a bunch of cat stuff. So I was thinking about putting a cat tree up here. Actually, that's probably the least safe place in the entire house for a cat tree. Letting them climb around next to the stairs is not a good idea, but I might do it anyway. It's The Sims, so they're safe. They don't have to worry about them getting hurt. And now we can just do some last minute touches like terrain paint, maybe some outdoor lighting, and that is the full house finished. I think that I do not feel as proud of this right now as I know I did when I built it originally. And that makes me feel a little bit bad because I know that I thought it was like amazing when I built it. I don't think it's amazing now. And I also don't think that the renovation is amazing right now. I feel like I did what I could, but I don't think that I did some like amazing build. And I definitely felt that way about it when it was first created. So I'm sorry, past Simsie, about that. But hey, listen, you'll get better. You'll do nicer things someday. Practice makes perfect with stuff like that. So it comes with time, you know? Okay, I got some outdoor lights too. I don't know how many of these to put. I am gonna be really curious to see how this looks at nighttime though. I'll probably want a couple of pool lights too. Okay, I think that's done. Let's look at it at night real quick. Ooh, it lights up so pretty. Okay, I think that's the fully finished build. So here's a quick overview of the interior. Very similar, just perhaps new and improved. Most of the renovation happened on the outside, and I think I'm happy with how it turned out. This was fun for me to go back and like take a walk down memory lane almost. Okay, it is officially uploaded in case you want to download it. Good luck trying to find the original one. It probably won't load correctly for you, but you can look. And thank you for putting up with me with this. It really has been a good time. Happy birthday, Sims 4. And with that, I'm gonna end this video right here, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Okay, bye everybody. I wish that I had like my old saves from my first ever Sims 4 playthroughs, but those were like on our old at the time laptop, probably a laptop from like 2007 or something. So they definitely are gone. I have no idea where to look.